one of the final things to do is to finish our hem at the bottom of the t-shirt. So I'm just going to press the hem up, and it's a 3 centimetre hem. And as I go, I'm just going to, so you can see here how the front and the back are out about a few mil. So I'm just going to trim that and make it nice and even. It's a good idea to do that at this point before we cover stitch it and it's too late. And then I'll also give the side seam a bit of a press while I'm there. So I'm pressing it towards the back. And then just as you go, just get your tape measure. And start measuring 3 centimetres and pressing the hem in place. It just saves you from having to use pins because you really don't want to run over a pin with any of these machines. It really damages the machine. Measuring 3 centimetres and pressing as we go around to the other armhole, and I'm just trimming any of the overlocking threads back and making sure that my edges are nice and even wherever there's a seam. We're back to the other side seam, so I'm going to give that a bit of a press towards the back. And just checking again, 3 centimetres. Making sure that your seam is pressed towards the back. It's okay to stick a pin in sometimes at the seams just to hold it in place, but make sure that you put it on the right side of the fabric so that you know it's there. Because of course we'll be sewing this on the Coverstitch machine, and we want the needle thread on the top of the garment, so we won't actually be seeing the hem as we sew it. And around to the beginning again. And I'm just going to pop a pin just in the hem, just at the seam, just to hold that the side seam facing in the correct direction. And then we're back to the Coverstitch machine to finish the hem. Okay, so this time I'm going to show you how to use the other Coverstitch machine, the one that's on the right hand side. It doesn't have automatic cut-off on it, so there's just a few peculiarities that I want to talk to you about. It has a different guide. This guide has a flat bar across it, which is perfect if you're doing a finish on rubber elastic for swimwear. You can actually turn the rubber elastic edge and place it under that guide there, and it holds it really well. But for this exercise, we can still use it for a t-shirt hem. We're folding the fabric and putting the folded edge under that bar, and just keeping our eye on the edge and keeping the folded edge lined up against it. Start off close to the edge. Make sure that you don't run off the fabric, really important, because it will cause you a lot of problems if you run off the fabric. So we're just feeding the fabric through and keeping our eye on the folded edge here. So when you get to the end, don't run off the fabric. You can't cut off, so what you need to do is you need to use the presser foot lifter, the pedal on the right hand side, to lift the pedal, to lift the foot off the work, and then you're going to draw the work back. Now if it's not coming back easily, you can jiggle the hand wheel to loosen it up, and then just cut the thread off and leave it. Don't try and pull the extra threads out. You can see there's 5 threads or something under there. Just leave them. If you try and pull the thread out, it tends to unthread the looper, and then you've got to re-thread the machine before you can go on again. So leave the threads there, and then you're ready to go for the next application. So now I'm going to do the hem on my shirt, and you just start out on one of the side seams. Actually, I'll start on the other one so that I'm starting off to sewing on the back. Now I have put a pin in there just to hold the seam going the right way. I'm just going to turn that round and place that under here. Then remove the pin before you start. So just keep your eye on that edge and keep it up against the guide. And as you go, just stop and rearrange the work so it's nice and flat, and just have a bit of a look and make sure that the fabric's not rolling, that it's sitting nice and flat underneath. You should be able to feel that with your hands as you go as well, that it's sitting nice and flat. And just keep stopping and arranging the work. You shouldn't be pushing or pulling this. Don't put any weight on it, otherwise it will try and gather. And just let the feed dog feed the fabric in at the right rate. And then as you get up to this next pin, stop and take the pin out. Just check it's sitting nice and flat, the seams facing towards the back of the shirt. Now where this does have a little bit more trouble than the other machine is it does tend to get a little bit caught on the thickness of the seam, so you may need to stop when you get very close to that side seam and just give it a bit of a hand. So I'm just feeling underneath to make sure it's sitting nice and flat. And then of course there's no reverse on these cover stitch machines, so you just need to run over the end of the sewing or the stitching for a few centimetres before you bring the needles up to their highest point. Foot lift to move the presser foot off the work, and then just draw the work carefully back and cut the threads off, and just leave all the threads there for the next time. So that's our cover stitch 10, and you can see it's worked quite well for most of that. I might want to give that a little bit of a trim back just to neaten it up, but otherwise that's worked really well.